Let's get more on this now from journalist and author Jonathan Steele, who joins me live from London. Jonathan, I'd like to hear your reaction to today's events. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
No, it's beyond all precedent. It's incredible. She was only in power or in office for 45 days. It's the shortest time that any British Prime Minister has served. So that was incredible. But as your correspondent just pointed out, it's only 26 hours since she said she was a fighter, not a quitter. But she was forced to resign really because the number of individual Tory MPs, Conservative MPs, who had lost confidence in her and who were willing to say so publicly was growing and growing. And so it was just a matter of time before she recognised the inevitable.
Was that her only option, though? As you said 26 hours ago, she called herself a fighter, not a quitter, and now here she has quit. But could she have stayed on and called for an early general election?
Well, the opposition parties want a general election, even though she's going. It would have been continued to be suicide if she'd called for a general election. I mean, that's the last thing Tory MPs want, because all the opinion polls show that they would come to a crashing defeat if there really was an election tomorrow in Britain. And they're trying to avoid that by clinging on to power and arguing that, according to the Constitution, unwritten constitution, they have another 2 years to go before there has to be a general election. So it would have been madness for her to call for an election.
What do you expect to happen with this leadership election, which is going to happen very quickly? How complicated is that likely to be?
Well, last time they had an election, when Liz Truss was elected this summer, it took about 3 months, and the membership of the party, which is about 160,000, were treated to a series of hustings, debates between the two leading candidates, Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss, and it went on and on and on. They had about 12 debates, and the thing was really out of hand. So they've now agreed that it will only be a week, and if there is a vote by the membership, which is not yet clear, it seems it will be a vote by the membership, it'll be online and it will have to be completed within 1 week.
What about talk of possible successors? Is there anyone that you favor, that you think has the best odds?
Well, surprisingly, Jeremy Hunt, who's been acting as the finance minister over the last two weeks and who's completely reversed all Liz Truss's economic plans with new measures he's announced. He was talked about as a possible successor. He's said today, since Liz Truss resigned, that he's not a candidate himself for the leadership. Slightly surprising that, because his public reputation in the media was quite high as a result of his actions in the last 2 weeks. But that leaves Rishi Sunak, who was the previous finance minister, and Boris Johnson, to be the front runner really as the next prime minister, the next leader of the Tory party, who automatically becomes prime minister. There is also the Home Secretary who resigned surprisingly yesterday, Suella Braverman. She's made it quite clear she's got ambitions to be leader. So there are those two candidates at the first stage. There may be 2 or 3 more, but I think the people who run these committees in the Tory party will probably insist that any would-be candidate for the leadership has to show that they've got signatures of support from a considerable number of MPs before they get even put on the ballot. Last time it was only a relatively small number and you could get on the ballot, and there were 7 people running for the job. They really want to bring it down to 2 or 3.
What do you think this all means from an international standpoint? The UK has long appeared to be a force of stability in the world, and now we're going to have the 3rd prime minister in a year. I mean, does this weaken or give the appearance of a weakened United Kingdom?
Yes, I think it's disgraceful. It shows shameful lack of sensible policy making and ideas at the top leadership of the Conservative Party. It's amazing that this party, which is the oldest British party and the most successful in terms of the number of years it's been in power, has really been reduced to the teenage squabbling practically in the street. It's really shameful.
All right, Jonathan Steele joining us from London. Jonathan, thank you for your insights.